Yo, what's up, guys? So, in this episode of my Fortnite analysis series, we're going to be looking at SypherPK and a recent 5 kill win he got in the West Cash Cup, Solo Cash Cup. And the reason I wanted to look at him first is I think his playstyle is quite similar to how I mold my playstyle. Quite conservative, not hugely aggressive, and I just want to go through his match and see what decisions he made, why he might have made them, and maybe how I might have acted differently in the circumstances, and see if I can learn something from it as I transition towards. I think my future is going to be mouse and keyboard, so obviously his mechanics are way beyond mine, but yeah, let's see how this one goes. So jumping in, he was landing between Weather and Catty, and on this drop it looks like he's going Catty and is contested. So in this sort of situation, if I'm contested off a drop, I look to land on a gun first and foremost, and then hopefully a shotgun, and try and kill folk before they manage to loot up. But it looks like he actually scuffed his drop, so he got a little bit lucky here that he didn't get killed off rip. Down to 640 health. Got the 2 splashes. I don't think there's too much to say here other than he's looking to recover at this point. I'm surprised he didn't get pushed, but I think what might have helped is there was two. I thought there was 2 guys that landed there. They may be both dead, because I think that pink marker's kit. Oh no, this is a guy. So this guy was camping. Now I'll pause it here. So he's down to 120 health, and a guy on him, but he does have a shotgun. So here, how I would play this is I would box up, try and get my mini off, and then just look to fight him. Try and wait for him to jump into my box, and trying to edit and kill him. Let's see how Cypher approaches it. So he's peppered. Boxes up, gets his mini off. The guy's actually backed off, which is interesting. It's not what would happen on EU. The guy would have been straight into my box. And now he disengages, which is not a bad play, but I guess you don't know where the guy is, so it's hard to make that call. And it looks like on the minimap the guy's still looking to cheese, as they say. But this other guy is letting him heal up at this point, which is going to be this guy's mistake. And unless the pink guy just leaves altogether, and looking at Cypher's kills, he doesn't get a kill for a while. So the guy's still hanging around though. Is that Kit? He's quite close. This is unusual. Cypher's probably thinking at this point the guy's left. Again, he's backing off. He's staying on the outskirts, so unless this other guy just has terrible loot, but he didn't loot half of this catty, so he's leaving now. So bit of a weird one off spawn, but the main thing is he's survived. More than I'd probably do. Fine. Right, let's speed up until we get to his next engagement. Because he's just going to be farming here. Upgrading his guns as well as best he can. Now, there's a guy coming in. Which he hears, so he boxes up and peppers. Which is not something I typically do. If I carried peppers, I would usually be try to save them for heals, not heals, for mobility late game. So he took the high ground, but he's about to give it up here or lose it. Which, it's funny because see, when I play aggressively, like I try to retake high ground, and if I get it, I seem to just always get beamed by a third party. It's as if there's always somebody waiting nearby to just beam me. So yeah, in this situation, if I played like this, I'd be getting beamed. It just happens like that all the time. So he's playing aggressive. Hasn't had any tags on the guy yet. I guess the pepper, with its extra speed, lets him be a little bit more aggro. But you can see he's still playing quite cautiously in terms of keeping his distance, not jumping in. Now this guy goes up for height. But this guy he's fighting's very passive as well. You know, no pressure. Okay, he's starting to pressure now. And zone at this point is on them, and they've got a fair bit to go. So for me, I would be looking to push here. I'd be looking to speed this up, because zone on our backs is not what you want. And if I got a dink like that, I'd be straight out and not letting the boy heal up. We got coned. He's got a wall on the boy. It's just dragging out a lot of this now. I think. And he's still got 5 builds. He's basically out of mats now. So the big problem here is he's wasted all his resources, both mats and, you know, the most of the shields. He's still got 5 minis, which is okay, but his peppers are gone pretty much. And this, but the 2 things I would say. He's played this very passively throughout, but so's the other guy. And for me, I think when you see someone playing passive like that, it tells me they're not a great player, or they're not a confident player, because I play like that and I just get pushed all the time. He's gonna get him here soon enough. So ended up getting him, but it sort of came out of desperation from that boy's point of view, where he realised we're deep in storm. I've got to make something happen here, and yeah, I don't think Sypher would be very happy with how that one turned out, because look at the zone. They've got huge distance to cover. You know, no heals at the moment. Well, no white heals. can hit campfires on the way in, but it's playing like a little bit of a storm game now. Okay, so it looks like he fished up a little bit, used a truck to get out, and potentially just got a little bit lucky in that the route he was taking in, there wasn't anyone on that side. Because I think if there was, like around Colossal Coliseum there, if he was coming in at that point, I think it would have been curtains. Because he'd have had all those boys, 3 or 4 of them all spraying him. And yeah, so that's maybe using dead side. The bus, I think the bus did come in from stealthy way, top left to bottom right. So the right hand side here is pretty much dead side. Which is something I try to do quite a lot. I try to play dead side of zone as best I can. Now, interestingly, here's something I don't do very often, is move to center zone. And in particular, this is now the one before, no, I think there's one more till half and half. So by going center zone here, he's going to guarantee he'll be in next zone, pretty much. So that's maybe something I can look to try and do more. Okay, he's got pushed by a guy here, but there's no death coming up. So this guy seems quite aggressive. He's settled down a bit now. So it looks like that guy also wanted this central spot. Sypher popped a crystal there, so he gets a good shot on him there. Yeah, you have to push that, really, do that much damage, especially to an aggressive player, because I think if you do that sort of damage and just hope they back off, the problem's going to be they're just going to heal up and then come back at you. And I think that's what's happened. So the boy tried to bounce her away and got beamed by somebody else. So that's why there was no kill there. A little bit unfortunate not to get that kill, and then even more unfortunate to get beamed by this boy. He might push him, but probably won't want to give up his spot. Three big pots, so 2 splashes. So overall, that's not a bad outcome there in terms of got a refresh on mats, which he needed, and got enough heals to see him through the rest of the game. So we'll fast forward to next zone and see where it pops, and then I'll talk through what my decision would have been. So here I would just stay put. You've got zone, and the next one is half and half, which in this zone you don't want to be, well, I guess the negative of being bang in the center where that orange guy is he's guaranteed not to be in zone for next zone, but he won't be too far from it. Whereas if you're on the edge of it, you're either going to strike gold and get half and half, or have potentially quite a big distance to go. So most of the pros tend to pick a spot on the edge here and gamble. But more I think about it, I don't know, maybe I'd rather be center and only have a small distance to go, especially in the sand where you've got sand and potential crystals that would allow you to move. But If I was in Cypher's spot here, I'd definitely stay put, so... Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going to do. So, zone half and half is right next to him, and we can see there's 3 boys nearby. He can probably tell there's at least 2, but I'm not sure if he knows if... Can I go to drone free? So me here, I probably just try and tarp in for all it is. It's the safest option. Probably in a hard mat as well, either brick or metal. Probably brick, because I'd rather save metal for if I've got a longer rotate to do. And I would probably go early. I'd go now before anyone else is moving in. Get my position secured. Oh, he's got spare metal there actually, so that would make my mind up to going metal. This is something I wouldn't typically do unless it was heals, where he's moved his big pots in. And typically, maybe he's just letting the metal build first fully, but typically I would be sitting in the cone that's in the circle rather than stay here. But I guess better angle for seeing folk coming in from here. And we'll obviously try and pick off a tag or 2, maybe snipe somebody. And it looks like he gets a kill coming up here, so... Oh, he's healing out in the open. Wonder why he didn't snipe him there. Maybe didn't feel confident with a snipe. Okay, nice to get those picks, the ones where you've not really got to put any work in. So, looks like he's going to go for this boy's loot. I don't know if I did... I mean, that's a learning point. I probably would have chickened out of going for that and stayed in my safe space. And that probably would have cost me, because I'd have ran out of mats before the end of the game. Whereas now he's got a little bit more of a tunnel here. And I don't know if he picked up that much mats actually from that. But he's got zone. He's kind of got zone. Here, and there's one boy nearby him. Has he got any bouncers? 6. Yeah, I would probably bounce here as well. So he goes a little bit higher to take his bouncer. Which, again, is something I'm reluctant to do. I'm usually scared of having to try and watch above, below, and all around me. Whereas the benefit of low ground is you've only got to worry about around you and above you. But the trouble with low ground is that's where everyone fights. So, whereas, like, look at this. Being on height now, you can conserve mats. And even though it's not stacked, what have we got left? 7 boys. He's not getting pressured for height. He might here, though. He builds up. Knocks that boy out. I was going to say I would have probably built up a bit there. Now, he's lost height here. And if that was me, I'd be chickening out and dropping down and going back to my safe space of I'll go and sit in a box on the floor. But he seems confident enough to try and keep it. Doesn't get any tags there. A little bit unlucky. Picks up 1 there. Down to 5. Still got 18 builds. Looking at pressuring this guy. That's him. Nice shot. So, something I'm seeing here, and I've seen it, it's harder to see it, I think, in trios and duos, because it's not as easy a game mode to follow, which is why I quite like watching solos, is it seems a much less much less stressful position to be on height, and you can see everything underneath you. Whereas when you're on low ground, especially if the storm's on your back, you're having to try and move, but it's so hard to be aware of where everyone is when you're on low ground. And see, so like that boy there just gets beamed because he clearly had no idea that the boy on height was looking at him. And then it's also easier to see when someone's challenging you for height and being able to pick shots. Just the damage that pistol does. And then I remember this actually. This last guy, he's just holding him off in storm here. So I was thinking, oh, this boy's gonna die at storm. He's got to be dead. But he survives a lot longer than you'd think was possible. He must have had a few floppers, but... And you can see him popping a couple there as well. So, out of builds. Again, prior to that little exchange, this is probably somewhere I would have just jumped into this box. I would have been thinking, oh, he must be like 1 HP. But still remains a little bit cautious. Picks up those builds. Wasn't many, but enough to keep him going. And then it's just a case of looking for his spot. I thought that would have killed him. It was a decent shot, but at that point he was down to 1 HP, 1 shot, and that's the dub. So yeah, interesting, that one. I think is rotate in from storm by going dead side was really helpful there. It allowed him to... I think he got a bit lucky in that there wasn't anyone else who was also in storm and decided to storm fight him after that first kill, because that would have just been a nightmare, and some folk are totally brain dead at this game. They'll just fight whatever. But then from the late game, he took height and held it, and it just seemed to play out quite easily for him. So I've got to get to late game first. If I can get to late game, maybe that's the idea. That would be my take on Sypher's solo Cash Cup dub there. If you like this, you want to see my take on more solo Cash Cup games like that, just let me know and I'll keep it going.